Emily had never considered herself easily frightened, so when a family friend asked her to house sit for the weekend, she figured it would be a simple gig: feed the cat, water the plants, and lock up at night. The house itself was cozy, and by the looks of it, the quiet neighborhood wouldn't be much trouble, but things would change that weekend. On her first night there, everything seemed normal. Emily spent the evening streaming movies and scrolling through her phone, the calm silence of the suburban home wrapping around her. As the clock neared midnight, she prepared to head to bed until her phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. Emily hesitated, but eventually answered. "Hello," she said, her voice echoing softly through the quiet house. No response. Just silence on the other end. Followed by slow, steady breathing. It lasted only a few seconds before the call cut off. She brushed it off as a prank call and went to bed, though the sound of that breathing lingered in her mind. The next day came and went uneventfully. Emily barely thought about the strange call. But that night, just as she was getting ready to sleep, her phone rang again. It was another unknown number. This time, she didn't pick up. She let it ring, staring at the screen, a strange feeling settling over her. The silence in the house suddenly seemed to quiet, as if something was listening. The call ended, but only a moment later, she heard something that made her heart stop. A faint sound, like footsteps down the hallway. She checked every room, locked all the doors, but there was nothing out of place. It was as if someone had been there and then vanished into thin air. By the third night, Emily was feeling unnerved. She'd barely slept and constantly checked over her shoulder. Her nerves wound tight as the minutes ticked toward midnight. And right on time, her phone lit up again. But this time, the caller ID showed something that froze her blood. It wasn't just unknown. The number was her own. She picked up the call, her hand trembling. "Hello?" she whispered, her voice thin with fear. On the other end, a distorted voice responded, barely audible. "I'm closer than you think." The line went dead. Her heart pounded as she tried to call for help, but every attempt to dial out failed. Each call would connect, only to drop immediately. Panic set in as Emily locked herself in the bathroom, her back pressed against the door, every sense on high alert. She sat there, hardly breathing, hoping that whatever was out there would just leave. But then she heard its slow, deliberate footsteps, each one closer and the last until they stopped right outside the door. She held her breath, feeling as though her heartbeat was loud enough to give her away. Whoever or whatever it was, it seemed to be listening just inches away. After what felt like an eternity, the footsteps retreated, fading down the hallway. At the first hint of daylight, Emily didn't waste a second. She gathered her things, rushed out of the house, and never looked back. But as she glanced up at the house from her car, her blood ran cold. In the upstairs window, she caught sight of a shadowy figure standing there, watching her leave, and later, as she checked her phone, a new message awaited her from that same unknown number. 3 words appeared on the screen. "Until next time."